Hey y'all, Monk Joseph here with the Broken Buddha. Today we're going to do episode 2 of S.O.S. That's Survivors of Schizophrenics. And this one will be about narrative changes, quick topic changes. And so let's go ahead and just get started. So I'm only going to present two examples here. And guys, please keep remember when I tell these stories to keep the pity out from between your ears. There's probably somebody in your life dealing with these things, and if you allow yourself to get caught up in the pity aspect, you may not hear what I'm actually saying, and your friend or family member may not get the help that they need and don't know how to ask for. So please pay attention. All right. So a lot of times, schizophrenics will, once they get caught doing something sociopathic, they kind of scurry around, try to separate people, fix the story, keep everyone separated, um, but they will change the topic. They'll find a way. They'll find someone else to point at. They'll find another situation to point at. They'll discredit the person who said the thing, even though it was true. Um, and I'm going to give you two examples here. So, all right. So when I was 18, my stepfather and I, or my stepfather got my brother and I a job with him. And before I finish, both of my parents are schizophrenic. One aggressively, one more in the dreamer side, but is in an aggressive state when it comes to me. Um, so anyway, let's get back to this. All right. So my stepdad got me and my gypsy brother a job with him, and it was a professional con man job. And me and my brother didn't notice this. We didn't know this until we had been there for a while. It was like, are we conning people? And like, yeah. So we left. And just so you know what the job was, they told you had to like fast talk your way by all these people in the corporation or at that building, designed, trained to stop you from doing this thing. And the job was to trick undereducated maintenance men into subscribing to overpriced lights. Yeah, it was a company called Lion Distributing out of Owings Mills, Maryland. So yeah, so me and my brother found this out. I wrote this really long, heartfelt letter to my stepdad. Hey man, we can't live like this. He was infuriated by that when he finally did catch up with us. But we like rolled out on a lunch break one time, and we had ended up informing the family of all this. So he was embarrassed and angry, and um, my mom was going to divorce him for being a professional con man and a constant liar. And I it's almost impressive, but I kind of do want to know what he said to her, because she went from asking me to help her pay bills so she can divorce him to, it was like a week or two later, my mom's asking me to move out because it's, best for everybody, while he's sitting there with his head down. And if I understood then why his head was down, I probably would have reacted differently. But so that's what it was. And he had my mom throw me out of the house because he had convinced her that all of their arguments were my fault and that if they threw me out, it would be fixed. But that was his topic change. The whole family knew he was a professional con artist, and somehow he's that good that he was able to, after they said, "Hey, we have physical proof. You're a professional con man," he was still able to convince them that I was the problem. And like I said, it's almost hard to get angry because of how the audacity of it, and just I don't understand a how a human's capable of it, and a how the other humans aren't capable of being like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So that's one example, and I'll give you another example now. Okay, the most recent example. My mom had gotten a little bit less healthier than she used to be, and she went to my stepdad and was like, "Hey, I can't work this hard anymore. Can you help take over some of the bills, learn how to pay bills? I'm on the decline." And apparently he was like, "No, I'm gonna leave and move back in with my parents." Remember, this guy's like 50 or almost 50 when this happens, bragging, threatening to move in with his parents. So my mom was gonna divorce him. Went around, asked everybody, got her friends and my brother. I was gonna move in here. I'm gonna do this. When she asked me if she could divorce him, I was like, that would mean the abuse was for nothing. And she just kind of like brushed it off, because now they're trying to act like, I mean, I'm surprised if they really felt the way they really do about things, she would have said something then. Not the point. The point was I was the only person who said you shouldn't get a divorce because that'd be ridiculous on all parts. Um, so they didn't. They stayed together. They worked it out. They moved to Florida. And this is, if you've seen the other video, this is the time when I visited last time. And again, I mean, there was a lot of like anger and embarrassment coming from him. I'm assuming. I mean, yeah, he just literally got shamed by my mother to the whole family. I'm the only person who didn't buy it. But he wanted to convince me that I was a bad person last time I visited. For whatever reason, that's just how his anger and embarrassment manifested. So if you've already heard this story if you watch all the videos. So as soon as my mom was in the other room, he starts running his mouth about why I'm a terrible person. I keep trying to reason with him like, hey man, that's not true. That happened like this. And the long story short was like him cursing me out while telling me he loves me, hugging me, crying, and then runs out the door. And I had my mother take me to a hotel. She agreed it was a dangerous situation. But things changed, right? So in that moment, whatever he said, again, it's that impressive dialogue of whatever they're doing. Um, he convinced her. What she said to me when I brought it up was, memories are tricky, right? So somehow he was able to convince her that I don't know, like that none of it happened. And since then, it's taken about 4 or 5 years. He has slowly taken shots at me from Florida, 3,000 miles away, via text message, phone, other people running their mouth to me for him, until I just like kind of snapped and was like, okay, you guys need to leave me alone if you're not going to stop. And that he used that, me complaining about the abuse, to be like, see, he's crazy. Even you guys said there was no abuse. But I mean, again, you have my brother who had his head put in a toilet being like, trying to validate my mom's reality, which is going to make her schizophrenia worse. Um, so yeah, and to be honest, I kind of don't know how to feel about it with my brothers because they weren't there for the 20 years. They didn't get to see him be a professional con man. But their best friend from school was the guy, the gypsy brother that was working with me and my stepdad. So they know he's a professional con man. You know, they know that he was going to leave her for asking her to pay bills. But for whatever reason, he needs me to be his scapegoat every single time. He just, since I was, somewhere between 4 and 6, anytime he's embarrassed or angry, he just hurts me and lies about it. And this is what causes, that person. If he's not part of our family, why did I get, pushed out from this psychopath? So, so there you have it. There's two. Professional con man somehow convinced my family I was the problem, and then guy who threatened to move out into his parents' house when he was 50 because he didn't want to pay bills. Convinced everybody again that I was the problem, without anything changing. By the way, there was no catalyst on my part to any of these people. So there's your topic changes. I got a little, shaky there. Some of this stuff is really nervy to talk about, and I still get kind of, going back into those memories. Sometimes I get kind of shook up, but it's not like the old, it's not that high fear, poison in your blood psychosis. We mentioned sometimes here being a variation of one of the symptoms that you can see, because with schizophrenia, you have people that are super susceptible. So you have my stepdad always on the verge of this psychosis that I'm talking about that I get slightly periodically. And but now after going through, I mean, I kind of understand where he's coming from, but I don't understand why he didn't get help like I do, like I was told to, and like I did. And again, my diagnosis is not schizophrenia, and he will never go see a doctor. I mean, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, the other story change I will tell you, there's another type of distraction or narrative change. When you see somebody, this is the harder one to look at. You got to know somebody for a while to see this. But the other two I talked about, you should be able to see. If you're paying attention, you're going to catch it like that. But if you're scared because this guy is pretending to be sad or angry or like he's being disenfranchised upon, you're not going to listen right. That's why I said you got to take the pity out of your ears for this story and for their story. All right. So the other topic change I'll talk about is it's more of like a personal ideology. Forgive me. And it is, my stepfather was like very into Reaganomics, very anti-cannabis, very much like enraged at the idea of anybody ever using cannabis. Like, what a piece of crap! I'll kill you. I was told I would be killed many times. He actually threatened to kill himself one time for finding a blunt in our kitchen, but nobody talks about that either. Um, and now, ever since whatever caused him to change, he decided to start smoking cannabis, and he had to change the narrative. And he told us that he was just joking. Every time he was angry about cannabis, he was just pretending. So that means, throwing my brother out of the house, chasing me up the street saying you're gonna effing kill me, um, you know, slapping me. Not that I didn't deserve it for smoking cannabis, but it's the point is that he had to lie about those things. He said that he was just pretending. He was just joking. He wasn't actually angry. Um, Trying to think what else. There was like a million. I mean, that guy hated weed, and probably because he didn't know that Ronald Reagan was like, the head of American government drug dealing, Um, but he got caught up in that Reaganomics thing, so he was still stuck in that until like I think like maybe 5 or 10 years ago. And then it was funny. He went around getting everybody stoned. My grandmother, anybody he could. And if you don't smoke weed, he'll tell you you're stupid, um, or a fool or something or whatever. He can't handle somebody telling him no a lot of times. So yeah, watch those, man. Like that's not. I'm not saying that people don't change or that people's ideologies can't change. But when somebody changes and then goes, hey, this part of me that you saw as a core of me wasn't real. You don't know what you were seeing. That, I mean, that gaslighting thing is like probably the top schizophrenic weapon that exists, is just being able to look at you and go, you don't know what you saw. And most people want to be good people. They want to do the right thing. So they're going to be like, maybe that was me. Maybe I didn't know what I saw. But you're fueling a fire of an addict who is addicted to their own ego and the nervousness they feel when they try to get away with something, trying to pull it off. Like, it's really sick if you think about it. Yeah. All right. So there you have it. There's the topic change, story changes, and yeah, I hope this helps. And like I said, guys, you can't hear these things with pity. You can't hear their stories with pity. Um, yeah, and if you don't stop people, like you guys see me in here in these like slightly neurotic states. I mean, the people in your lives that are dealing with these things are living in very uncomfortable, scared, sad, anxious states. And again, it's just that quick talkingness. You're not listening. You're not paying attention to them. You're not seeing that your family member, your friend, is in trouble. And they may not have the intellect to get out of it or see that the person is bad. And even if they do, they just might not be able to do anything about it. Their self-esteem could be too low. They might not be able to understand what's happening. They may not. I think on my mom's part, a lot of people don't think that that stuff exists. And then by the time they do, they have to cover up because it's embarrassing that you went that long without noticing somebody was assaulting your children or something like that. So pay attention, guys. Pay attention. It's the only thing I can tell you. Just really, really pay attention. The only way a schizophrenic gets away with being sociopathic and hurting people is if you don't pay attention. Oh, well, the guy, they're doing thing in the video, you should listen to him. Like, I'm saying? They're going to do anything they can. People that are, you tell someone you're watching this and you saw this guy on this thing, they're going to try to discredit me. They don't even know me. I got nothing to lose or gain with this, so all right, so there you have it. Forgive the slight neuroticism when I was going back in the memories. Like I said, it gets a little scary and shaky sometimes up here. So, but I'm doing my best. I am getting help. I do stay active. I do stay working. And I encourage anyone either dealing with these states to do those things or knows someone who's dealing with these states to encourage them to do those things. Yeah, guys, another one. Stop pretending like you shouldn't encourage your friends that are slightly more mentally unstable than you just because you're mentally stable. Like, what I'm saying? Like, my car runs fine and I could help you fix your car, but nah, I'd rather just look down at you. Yeah, don't do that. All right, so that's it for me today. Again, I'll try to get back to our original curriculum here soon. But a lot of these things seem to be helping people, so I'm going to keep putting them out there. Thank you for your time. Thanks for stopping by. I hope this helps. And please pay attention to the people around you. All right? At least if you think you care about them, don't just talk about it. Do it. Care about the people you care about. All right? Care for them. Got it. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Peace and blessings.